Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to another speed build video here on the channel. This is part 2 of what I called my Rocky Green home. If you missed part 1, there's going to be a link down in the description below that you can click on and go watch part 1. There's also a link to the build playlist that if you want to go and see some of my other builds that I've done plus part 1 there, you can go to the playlist and actually look at a few of the builds that I've done on the channel and watch those if you would like. That playlist also has a link at the end of the video as well if you would like to click on it. But for now, let's continue on talking about the Rocky Green home that I'm finishing here. As a recap, I did actually build this house for one of my Sims. If you watch the Forgotten series, you will actually be sort of familiar with her. I feel like she is one of the ones that was sort of more in the background compared to some of the family members in that series, but this house is being made for Pebion, who is based off of one of my own little creations. I really like the Pokemon Eevee, and Eevee is known as, like, the evolution Pokemon. She has, like, all these different types of evolutions, and you can get them from different situations, depending. But there are some types in, like, Pokemon that Eevee does not have an evolution for. So one time, a long time ago, I actually made drawings of my interpretations of what Eevee would potentially look like if she had those evolutions. And I even made little clay figures of them and painted them, and they're like chilling over in my art room and stuff. And I eventually made Sims based off of them because I had Sims based off of Eevee and her evolutions, like the official ones. So I decided to make Sims based off of my versions of the types that are not yet in existence. Who knows if they ever will be? I would perfectly be okay if the Eevee's types are made into the other types that she doesn't have are made official. So basically I came up with my own design, named it whatever I thought fit for them, and then made these Sims. And the Sims basically were like supposed to be almost the forgotten, the left behind, the unwanted versions of the Eevee family. They were struggling to basically compete with the Eevee family. They were not well known for good things. In this generation of this family, we're trying to sort of change that, but because of the way that they grew up and some issues, things that they had, they struggled with things a bit. And Pebion was more of, she couldn't find basically a drive to really go out to a job. It wasn't so much that she couldn't do it, it was more of she wanted to be outside. She wanted to be in the wilderness and things like that. She didn't want to be held down by a job. She does now have a job. I have given her, I keep forgetting the name of it, but it came with Eco Lifestyle. So basically she's trying to help and save the environment, which I thought was fitting for her. If she ever was going to have a job, it had to be something to do with the environment. So she either was going to be like the one that came with Island Living, which is conservationist, I think, and or the one with the eco living, whatever. So this house has a very strong, like, rock theme because she is supposed to be the rock type evolution that does not exist, but, you know, my version. And so there's a lot of rocks on the outside. I had a bunch of rock gardens surrounding the outside of the house, but I'm also like, this is in the, I built it in the neighborhood for Eco Lifestyle. But obviously if you do download this, if you want to download this, you do not have to place it there. You just have to find a lot that is the lot size of this or a little bit bigger. Because obviously you could put it onto a bigger lot and just add stuff to it if you need to. But yeah, so it does have some of those feels of like the Eco Lifestyle here and there. I didn't go too heavily onto it as of right now. Maybe once I actually place the house and I maybe start playing it with her a little bit, I may add some more things. There's that extra room that has some of the stuff from Eco Lifestyles. I admit with that room, it slightly seems just random and out of place, but I didn't fully know what to do with that room, and I did want those objects to be somewhere in the house because I definitely want her to actually be able to get far in the career that I have now put her in and such. So that is why those are there. In some ways they do look slightly random, And over time, I would probably add, like, personal touches to that room to make it something more. But if you download this, you can easily change it into, like, a nursery or something else. There are two children rooms. And to be honest with you, for the long time, Pepion was one of those ones that I wasn't exactly, like, actually sure, like, was she gonna have kids? Was she even gonna worry about dating? Was she, like, who would she, what is her type necessarily? She was one of those ones that I never really had a strong feeling one way or the other. But the game decided that she was gonna have kids. And, you know, I wasn't prepared for that, but whatever. Basically, I don't know fully what happened, but it was definitely one or multiple of my mods had messed with something. I tried diving in deep into my mods, trying to figure out which one it was. And to me, the only thing that makes sense is that it was multiple mods interacting with each other, and the way that they interacted and the things that they did sort of caused this to happen. To me, it doesn't make sense that one particular mod did it on its own. And I know the one of them that I think does actually have the option for it, I could not find that option for the longest time. I did eventually find it, and it wasn't set to actually make that happen. So again, I think it was just multiple mods interacting with each other, and it caused, like, some sort of conflict, which allowed it to happen. But Pebion did get abducted by aliens, and she became pregnant. Now, she is 100% a female. She never was a male at any point, so she's not, like, a trans female or anything like that. There's never been a point in time that she has been male at all. So in Sims, it's the males when they get abducted who could come back pregnant. So when she got abducted, I didn't think much of it while I was playing with her and Anjan and Terion. But then she started acting weird, and I was like, females can't get pregnant in The Sims by aliens, at least not by the abductions of aliens. Obviously, if you have alien Sims, yes, it can happen, but it can't, not when they get abducted. Like, you know, for some reason when they get abducted, the female aliens, like, experiment only on the male aliens. It's like they just take the females for random studies or just for fun. I don't know. But I was like, she can't be, but she was, and it was twins on top of that. So she has twin girls now who are both aliens, obviously, or hybrids, or I don't know. When a sim gets abducted by aliens, is it 100% alien that they are carrying? Like, did they insert a full-on 100% alien, or is it a hybrid? Like, I never really thought about that, actually, until literally right now, and aliens have been out for a long time. I just always called them aliens, even when they're hybrids. But I didn't really think about that until now. Like, anyway, whatever. Either way, she has these two kids now, and they are aliens to an extent. I mean, if they technically are hybrids, then they're hybrids, but either way, they got alien in them. But, so I made 2 little rooms for them. Obviously, you can change it up if you want to, but there is a bigger space theme to them because the fact that these 2 little girls are aliens. I think I did it in one of them's room more so than the other one, just because I did want to have by the time they move into this house, because right now they're still toddlers, but by the time they move into this house, I'm imagining they would be kids, so they would start having their own individual personality. So I was trying to connect their background and parts of their personalities that are similar, but also start to get to the point where you could tell them apart more often. But I actually had loads of fun actually making their rooms. I did play around with the platforms a little bit. This is the first house that I ever played around with platforms in. I have built 1 or 2 houses since then that I definitely messed with one of them with some platforms, but this was my first one. And I will say I love the platforms, but when it comes to building, the platforms can get a little frustrating. I mentioned it in part 1, but just as a reminder, if you download this house, there might be a few things that I missed that the platforms did. Hopefully not. I think I found them all before I put it and uploaded it to the gallery. If not, definitely feel free to let me know on the gallery and be like, hey, this and this is like this, if you want to try to fix it and upload it or whatever. But also, as a reminder, if you decide to play around with platforms and you haven't, just be careful of certain things. I don't know. Like I said, I had seen some people have issues with the platforms, some of the issues that I had, but not everyone. So I don't know if it's something that I'm doing and these other people that have had the issues are doing or what. But the main thing was the fact that when I had platforms down on the main level and I was building up walls, it was raising the platform each time I made a wall in most of the rooms. So the rooms slowly, the platform got bigger and bigger, and I was like, what is going on? And then anytime like you fool with the walls for the outside, especially of the house, it would change the platform for whatever reason. But also, when you add a platform into a room, like I did for the 2 girls' rooms here, it actually, like, caused a hole in the ceiling right above them, and I didn't notice it until I took screenshots. You still see it in the screenshots, but I fixed it before I uploaded it to the gallery. But it did, like, remove the ceiling right where I placed the platform, so you've seen the underside of the roof. Which, I mean, in terms of, like, actual gameplay, that should mean that the room is still protected from weather. The roof is still sealed the whole thing. But at the same time, I wasn't 100% sure, so I did it to make sure. And also, if you're, like, taking pictures or whatever, or if you're looking at the sim in a certain angle, you're gonna see the ceiling. So that's something to keep in mind. I also did a platform in the master bathroom. And I don't know how this happened, but because I did a platform in the master bathroom and the way that it set it up, it set part of the master bathroom's walls to register with some of the walls on the outside of the building, and it was, like, really weird, because I don't even think the wall, if I remember correctly, the walls wasn't even touching. Or if they were, it was, like, just the corner of the wall. So it was really strange. So when I did the shift, do the whole room and the bathroom, it actually did, like, part of the house as well, the same wallpaper and stuff as the bathroom. I did fix that as well, but that's something also, like, if your platforms are inside rooms and you do the shift for the whole room for the wallpaper for whatever reason. Sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't, just depending on how much of the wallpaper I got to cover. I'll admit most of the time I use shift just because it's quicker, but if you do it, just remember to check the outside walls. Make sure, because I don't remember it actually doing it in the girls' rooms, but I also can't remember if I actually did the shift or if I just ran the wallpaper right where I needed it to. I actually should have paid attention while watching this, actually, because their rooms are being worked on right now. But, yeah, so I don't remember it popping out on the outside when I did their rooms with the platform for the beds. But I also can't remember if I used the shift click. But, anyway, onto the girls' rooms. As you can see, there is a lot of, like, cutesy stuff, but there's also a lot of alien-related stuff. I do have rocks and, like, gemstones throughout the house, because that was one of the big themes, was rocks and things like that. I also had fun with this. I did incorporate, like, makeup and, like, some things that would start to more go towards the teenager years, because, like I said, by the time I move Pepion in here, I definitely know there'll probably already be kids. And I was getting it basically prepared for that, more of that preteen stage. Yes, they're still kids, but they're getting closer to those teenage years. So I did add a few things, like thinking about if they had friends over and, like, doing makeup in the mirror. And I liked that I did the makeup in the floor with the mirrors, because that is something technically sometimes I still do to this day. I have 2 mirrors in my room. One is attached to the dresser, and one is a full-length mirror. Well, not, it's a smaller full-length mirror, but you get the point. On the back of my door. And the one on the back of my door goes almost all the way to the floor, and a lot of times, sometimes I'll just sit on the floor and do my makeup there. Just because there's a lot of stuff on my dresser. There's a lot of products. There's hair stuff, lotions, makeup stuff. and sometimes leaning over can cause chaos. But also sometimes it's just nice to sit down and relax and do it, and I don't have, it's where it's a dresser, it's not like a desk type thing, or a vanity. I would love something like that. I would prefer that sort of setup with my makeup instead of standing or sitting on the floor. I'd prefer like a vanity setup. But for me personally, I don't have it. But I especially did it as a kid, and I've seen several kids in like shows and also within my family members and things like that sit in the floor and do makeup, even though it's like the cheaper little kids makeup and stuff. As they're getting into it, they do it on the floor. So that was something that I randomly decided to do, and I really liked that it did that, just because it was that little detail. Like, sometimes not all people are gonna do things the same. So not all of them are gonna stand at a dresser and do their makeup, or stand at a mirror and do their makeup, or sit at a vanity. They may not have a sitting vanity like me. All these different things. So I sort of liked that little touch, because it was something like I do and that I started as a child doing, and still do to some extent. It depends. It depends on how much makeup I'm going to do. If I'm going to do a lot of makeup, I might be sitting on the floor and just bring what products I'm going to use, because I know I'm going to be doing a lot. But if I'm doing really simple, my most simplest is just eyeliner. I really love eyeliner. A lot of people, it's mascara, but I don't like mascara. My eyes can't stand mascara. But eyeliner, but I like something around my eyes. So eyeliner is what I do, and I can get it really close to my, like, the edge of my eye. So that's why a lot of people sometimes prefer mascara, because where it's on their eyelashes and stuff. But anyway, I can get mine really close, so I don't have to worry about the mascara part, why some people use mascara. Plus, my eyes can't stand mascara, really. I own, like, 1 or 2 mascara things, and honestly, I haven't used them in so long. It wouldn't surprise me if they're starting to dry up. I can't wear mascara. Like, I can for small bits of time, but not for long periods of time, and not often. But yeah, anyway. I also did, like, fun little shelf things in the room that I had a lot of fun doing. I went really detailed in their room, because I partially did it just because I was having fun, but because of the family that I'm personally going to be moving in here. The thing about both my Forgotten and Evie families, the one thing that those two big families share in common is the familiar bond that they have. Even in situations, like, one of the only oddballs that I would say is Sparion. He is not very, very good with children. He's just not. But for the most part, even the ones that maybe would have not had kids, or they would have not had that many, to me, all of them seem like they would be good parents. Would they be the best, per se? No. But they are good, and they try their best for their kids and such. So I really wanted to go really detail-oriented with the kids' rooms compared to some of the other rooms, just because of that fact. Not only, I mean, I was having fun too, obviously, but to them, family is a big thing. And one thing with the Forgotten family, especially, one of their backstories on both sides, because there's one side that's like, they're cousins to each other. There's 4 on one family side and 5 with different parents. But, you know, they're cousins. They didn't have the best upbringing. Their parents wasn't the best. And like I said, they're trying to turn things around and change things for their family, but they don't want the same for their kids as they had. So that's a big thing. They want to turn a lot of that stuff around, and I just feel like they would actually, even though Pebion, originally I wasn't sure if she ever would have kids, if the opportunity ever popped up, I know she would try her best. So I did go really detail-oriented in the kids' rooms. I had fun with the shelves and all that stuff. I still had fun with the other rooms. The master bedroom, obviously, I did technically design it for potentially having a significant other. Right now, she does not. Technically, there's someone that she's potentially talking to, and it might become a thing. Not quite sure just yet, but I prepared it just in case, and also because one of the things I think about when building these builds for my Sims, sometimes I have very strange Sims, I have unique Sims, so I slightly tone it back sometimes, in some cases. So the bedroom, I didn't go like full Pebion. I did include like 1 or 2 rocks here and there. I put the plants that I used were actually in stones. stuff like that, but I didn't try to go too overboard. Maybe, like, once she moves in, I'll probably actually add a few more rocks here and there and stuff like that. But I did try to tone some of the parts back, because I do like putting these up on the gallery for the potential for people to download and enjoy for themselves. So I do try to tone some things back, because I know some of my Sims are very, very strange and odd. I love them no matter what, but sometimes they aren't like your typical Sims, like compared to some people. I'm one of the people that loves occults as well. There's not as many of us compared to the people that doesn't really care about the occults. But I love those, so you know, my Sims have that sort of feel going. Not all of them, but a big majority of them do. So when I build them for my Sims in particular, I take their style and I just slightly turn it back so that other people may enjoy it as well if they want to download it. As far as packs used in this one, I can tell you Eco Lifestyle. Is it living or lifestyle? There's so many livings, I get confused anymore. But Eco Lifestyle, I think is what it is. I know that pack is used quite a bit in here. I know there's a lot to get to work because of the alien stuff. And I know there's a lot of other packs in here as well, but as far as which packs were not used and which ones were, I admit I go in not fully worrying about the packs. I say it every time. I go into it not too concerned about which packs I'm using and which ones I'm not, but towards the end of the builds, I might tone certain packs back or try not to use certain packs because I haven't used them yet. So it doesn't hopefully come off with extremely large amount of packs, because I know not everyone has the packs or all the packs. I technically don't have them all at this point. I'm still waiting for like the Star Wars pack to be like 70% off before I buy it. I might at 50 eventually, but as of right now, I'm not that intrigued to buy it just yet. But I also know surprisingly more people than not actually have quite a few of the packs, so hopefully it's not too limiting. You can always look on the gallery and see what packs are used. You can actually click on those packs and then click, there should be somewhere on the right side of the little pop-up that's like what items were used, and you can actually see what items I used for that particular build, so that maybe you can determine whether or not you can actually like easily substitute those items with items from other packs that you do have, or even from CC. There is no CC in my builds, so that is one less thing you have to worry about. Even though, you know, I have a bunch of packs, but you don't have to worry about the CC in most of my builds. There are a few here and there that are exception. But anyway, I hope you loved how this house turned out. I will say at first, like, I was really excited to do this house, and then I started doing the rocks, and I got a little like, oh, this is a whole lot going on. I'm ready for this build to be done. The rocks are a little too much at this point. But once I got through that, I got excited again, and I was loving this build, and I enjoyed doing it quite a bit, and I love how it turned out a lot. And I hope you do as well. If so, hit that lovely like button, subscribe, all that lovely YouTube goodiness, you know, so that you don't miss out on future builds and other things here on the channel. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!